Hey everyone! Well, today I want to talk about some really amazing English expressions. Now, some words in English are really simple, but when you pair them with other words, you come up with some really amazing expressions. And these expressions are at the C2 level of English, which guarantee that you sound really good and fluent as you speak English. And therefore, today I want to talk about C1 expressions ending with the word so. Remember, I mentioned that some words are really simple. The word so is a really simple word. But what are the expressions that can come up with it? Let's have a look. Our first expression is or so. Now, both words are really common words, right? But what does or so mean? Or so is a way of giving an estimate, which means approximately. You don't know the actual number. So, I can say, I lived in that house for a year or so. I don't really know the exact number of days, so I will use or so to show an approximate amount. We need to start packing in an hour or so. Again, I want to show an approximate amount of time. Unfortunately, she might be late by an hour or so. Every year, I take a vacation for a week or so. Sometimes we don't like to give the exact amount, so we might just use this expression to show an estimate. Let's look at another expression with so. Be so. Now, be, we all know, is a very common verb. In fact, it's one of the most common verbs in English. Now, there are three forms of be, as you know, is, am, and are. So, when I use be and pair it with so, what do I mean? It means that I am being true or correct. Okay, so I'm showing the accuracy of my information. Let's see a sentence. His parents told him that they were separating. Please tell me that it isn't so. Okay, so we just got to know that my friend's parents were separating. But I really want someone to tell me that it isn't so, that it is not true. Let's see another sentence. I was told that the weather would be lovely, but apparently it isn't so. Apparently it is not true, it is not correct. We were told that the movie was scary, but it wasn't so. A lot of times you get into a movie and you expect it to be scary, but unfortunately it wasn't so. Now, the be can also take the past form, in which case it can become was. Okay, so the present form of be is, am, and are, but the past form is was or were. We expected the mangoes to be ripe. However, they weren't so. As I mentioned, you can also have another past form, which is were or weren't. Let's look at another expression, which is be just so. Now, we've actually added another word, just. Why did we do that? Because here we want to imply that something is perfectly arranged or tidy. Are you somebody who is a cleanliness freak? Do you want things to be in a certain way? Well, this expression is for you. My dad is obsessed with order. His room has to always be just so, which means he wants things to be a certain way. He's sort of a freak when it comes to orderliness. We have another sentence. Everything has to be just so at the party, or my sister will make a fuss. Okay, so be just so. Now, my sister apparently is the same like my father. She wants everything to be perfectly arranged. In other words, she wants things to be just so. Don't make the bed that way. I need it to be just so. Now, believe me, some people want their bed made a certain way, or they will not sleep in it. In other words, they want their bed to be perfectly arranged in the way that they want, just so. The arrangement of flowers needs to be just so to make it visually pleasing. Okay, so to be just so. Alright then, I hope you're understanding these expressions, and I hope you can see how a simple word like so, when paired with other words, can bring you some amazing C1 expressions. I have another one for you, the last one of this lesson, which is even so. Another very common word, even, paired with so. Now over here, even so is a phrase which is the same as saying despite that. Okay, so you're trying to say that something has happened, but despite that, something else is happening. Let's see an example. Crime has increased. Even so, our mayor hasn't done anything to tighten security. So as you can see, even so is a way of saying that despite the crime increasing, our mayor has done nothing to tighten security or to reduce crime. Let's see another sentence. It was a bright sunny day. Even so, what happened? She felt hopeless and sad. As you can see, the word even so, the phrase even so, shows a contradiction. It's a bright sunny day, you're supposed to feel happy, but even so, despite the bright sunny day, you feel hopeless and sad. Another expression, another sentence, he had barely prepared his speech, even so, he looked quite confident. Well, is that not how we would like to sound? We sometimes want to sound confident even though we're not prepared. Well, if you learn C1 expressions, you too will sound confident. Let's see another one then. It was a boring lecture. Even so, I sat through it without complaining. Right? So, despite it being a boring lecture, well, I sat because I was patient. Alright, well, this is the lesson where you have so many expressions with the word so. I hope you are now going to use it in your everyday speech, in your conversations, and even in writing. Well, make sure you put in your comments as to which expressions you're going to use, and I will give you my personal feedback. Until then, this is me saying, keep learning. Bye.